All right, let's have a quick reality check on these viral lotion dots. If your dot melts and your hands feel oily afterwards, that's not a lotion problem. That's because this isn't a lotion, it's a balm. And balms are supposed to leave a film, which is exactly why people keep complaining that these dots feel like a grease pit. The consequence is predictable. You make batch after batch, you tweak the wax, you add more butter, you maybe throw in some powders, and a few days later, you still can't even pick those dots up without oily fingers. So today, I'm proving the 3-ingredient lotion dot myth wrong, and I'm showing you what exactly fixes it. A simple, structured dot built to pop out of the tiny molds, press and spread, and dry down without that oily pickup. People call these lotion dots, but most viral versions are just oil and butter and wax. So when you press it on your skin, it melts into a thin oil film. It feels like it's absorbing because it disappears visually at first. But what's really happening is it's spreading, not absorbing. And that's why your hands feel oily, your skin looks shiny, and the dot feels greasy, even after you think it's soaked in. Here's what people do next. They try to fix it by changing the ratio. More beeswax to make it harder, more butter to make it feel richer, more powder to hide the shine. But none of that changes the real issue. It's still a mostly oil-based product, so it still leaves an oil film. After a few days, a lot of these dots get worse because the free oils can migrate to the surface, so they feel oily just sitting there. So here's the promise. You can keep the dot format, keep it easy to make, and still get a dry touch finish. The fix is not more wax or more powder. The fix is building the dot so it has a strong backbone for unmolding, but less free liquid oil, so it doesn't feel greasy in your hand or on your skin. That's what we're doing with this new version. It presses, it spreads, and then it dries down. And you'll finally get a lotion dot experience that behaves like a product you actually want to use. Now that you know that balms do not equal lotion, the goal isn't to keep chasing the perfect 3-ingredient ratio, because if the dot is built mostly out of free oils, it's going to behave like a balm every single time. Melt, spread, and leave that oily film. So what we're going to do instead is building a dot that's still easy to make, still pours into those tiny little sphere molds, and it still pops out clean, but the structure is different. This formula is designed to reduce free liquid oil so you don't get oily pickup on your fingers and you don't get that greasy finish on the skin. Let's head to the bench over here. I'll show you exactly how it's built ingredient by ingredient so you can make lotion dots that actually feel good. Today's product, this lotion dot, is built around one simple idea: less free liquid oil. That's how we're going to stop the oily pickup and still get that dot that presses, it spreads, and it dries down. Let's just get going, shall we? We're going to start off with cetearyl alcohol, which is an emulsion stabilizer, an opacifier, and thickening agent. And this is the main solid lotion bar backbone. It's going to give structure, firmness, and that greasy, dry payoff at the end. If I can do this without getting it all over my table. Not too bad, only a couple dots over here. Okay, next is cetyl alcohol, which is a fatty alcohol and emollient, and this is here for the slip, so the dot glides instead of dragging without adding that oily feel. Our next ingredient is beeswax, and this is going to give the unmolding strength and flexibility, so the half sphere can pop out clean instead of just smooshing as you're trying to pop it out of there. Now again, as you saw in the beginning of the video, most people are doing the 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. Beeswax, coconut oil, and then some type of a liquid oil. And that's why you're getting that greasy feel. Stearic acid is an emulsifier and thickener. It's going to tighten the structure and helps the dot to set faster. It's important in tiny molds like this. I've chosen to go with 2 different butters rather than just one. So we're going to start off with kokum butter. And then we're going to put in also some cocoa butter, and it's going to give that traditional lotion bar cushion. But we're keeping this controlled so it doesn't become too greasy. As far as the kokum butter is concerned, it is considered a drier butter. You could use Muro Muro. Also, if you'd like, I just put out a sheet on my Patreon for all of my members with all of the different butters, what they contribute, their usage rate, whether they're dry or light, or, you know, if they're rich or what have you. So what we're going to now is we're going to go ahead and put this up on top of our hot plate. We're going to start melting all of those things down before we add our next ingredient. Once everything is melted down all the way, we can go ahead and move on to our next ingredient, which is lipid thicks, and this is used to thicken oil-soluble ingredients. And this is the quiet little hero. It's going to help to immobilize the oils so that they don't migrate to the surface over time. And this is how we avoid that oily pickup days later. So you do want to make sure that all oils, butters, emulsifiers, thickeners, everything is completely melted before you add that lipid thicks. And you may need to pop this back on top of your hot plate just in order to incorporate this completely. We don't want any chunks, any floaters at all. So you're going to mix this really, really well. Once you don't see any more chunks at all from that lipid thicks, we're good to move on to our next ingredient, which is going to be Lex Feel Natural. This is a castor oil derived ester, and it's our main dry emollient to hydrate the skin. It's going to give you slip, and it enhances spreadability without that wet, oily film. Our next ingredient is C1215 alkyl benzoate, and this one helps with the powdery, non-tacky finish, especially important when we add our dry touch powders, which is coming up next. And so what we're going to do next is we're going to pre-blend all of those dry powders, because you don't want to just dump all the powders in at once. That's how you get clumps and gritty dots. So our first powder is going to be the polymethyl silsesquioxane. Hope I'm saying that right. Don't really know. Anyways, this is a texture enhancer, and this is the big reason why that dot isn't going to feel greasy. The PMSQ is going to give that silky, soft, dry touch, providing a silky matte finish. So that's what we have in this bowl. Next, we're going to be adding, be careful with this one, it's very, very light, silica dimethyl silicate. This is a hydrophobic fumed silica and high performance thickener, and this is here to stop the oil from acting free like we talked about. It's going to help to lock the liquid phase so that it doesn't bloom to the surface and make those dots oily to hold on to. So we're just going to add that right in with our PMSQ. And lastly, with our powders, you should put a mask on too, by the way, because particles will float up into the air. Our last powder is going to be Dry Flow PC. This is a hydrophobic starch, and it's our finishing assistant to reduce the greasiness and improve the skin feel. It helps knock down any leftover tack and shine so that these dots dry down nice and clean. So just go ahead and give this a gentle blend. Pop this back up on top of the hot plate just for a few seconds to bring that temperature up just a little bit. While we're waiting for this temperature to come back up just a little bit, we're going to go ahead and sift our powders into a different bowl because we don't want clumps and chunks. Okay, Okay, our powders are ready to start adding them now. A little bit at a time while we're stirring. It's important that you have your mixture hot enough so that these powders get mixed in and incorporated fully. If your mixture is more on the cold side, you're going to experience more clumps, and it's just going to take you a lot longer to be able to get them all broken up and distributed evenly. So make sure that your mixture is hot enough. We don't want it boiling, obviously. And then, of course, we're going to have to wait just a little bit to bring that temperature down before we add our last ingredients. Just keep stirring until you don't see any clumps at all. And if you did a pretty decent job with the sifting, you shouldn't really see too many. I see like maybe 2 little clumps still floating around in there. Already you can see the difference, though, between this and the beeswax, coconut oil, and a liquid oil. Look at the difference in just the color. It looks more lotion-like. Excuse my voice, too, you guys. I have just a little bit of hoarseness going on. Still got to bring this temperature down just a little bit. Our last ingredients are going to be vitamin E and rosemary oil extract. Those are your antioxidants. They're going to keep the dot smelling fresh and prevent the oils from oxidizing over time. I've combined those. I have everything right here. The vitamin E, the rosemary oil extract, and also my fragrance. And you want to add that especially at a lighter temperature so that you don't like cook off that fragrance. We're good to go though, as far as like there aren't any clumps or chunks or powders. The mixture looks really, really nice. Very pourable at this point. We're just really waiting for that temperature to come down. While you're waiting for the cool down, if you wanted to add color to your dots, now would be the time to do so. I am going to go ahead and add some mica. Remember that these are going to dry down. The color is going to dry down quite a bit lighter than what you see in your beaker. But we don't want things too dark either, excuse me, because we don't want to stain people's skin either. Make sure you keep on mixing once you add your colorant to ensure that you're not seeing any clumps, chunks, floating powders anywhere. Even look on the bottom of your beaker. Make sure you don't have any clumps or chunks floating around down there. We are good to go now to go ahead and add those remaining ingredients. Again, this is going to be your vitamin E, rosemary oil extract, and fragrance. I've combined all of them. The fragrance I am using for these dots today is Grapefruit Lily. It smells fantastic. It's a really, really nice spring scent. I love pink grapefruit to begin with. And then you add just that little touch of lily. It's just beautiful. And that's it. That is the recipe, you guys. And then we're just going to go ahead and pour those into the mold. For me, it's much easier if I raise my platform up just a little bit when I start pouring. Okay, once you're confident that everything is mixed really nicely with no clumps or chunks anywhere, just go ahead and start pouring. Okay, now that we're done pouring and evening everything out, I am going to go ahead and put them in the fridge, and I'll bring you back when we're ready to pop them out. 10 minutes later, and our dots are ready to be popped out of the mold. So this could be a messy process. You're going to get some little remnants and bits popping out all over the place, but give me a minute. Let me pop these out, and then we'll do a demo. So here's your dots, all unmolded. They're pretty hard. We're going to do a demo here in a second. But the first test we're going to do is the pickup test. So I'm going to pick up the dot and I'm going to roll it between my fingers. There's no oily slick, no greasy residue. All right, next I'm going to press it. I'm going to press it down between my fingers. Because we have engineered this dot completely different than the beeswax, coconut oil, and liquid oil, this is going to feel completely different than those other ones. In fact, I have a batch of the coconut, beeswax, and liquid oil with just a little bit of vitamin E. I can't even pick these up. There you go, see? I can't even pick these up without, like, I just can't. Can you see the grease already? They're so slippery and they're sticking together. I can't even pick them up. Wow, I really can't even pick them up. You can see how greasy these are. And okay, let's put this down. Here's one with the beeswax and the coconut and the liquid oil. And you can already see, I haven't even done anything. You could see how greasy this is already on my hand. But press it down. And it's just so greasy. This is your beeswax, coconut oil, and liquid oil. And it's incredibly greasy. I would hate using this product. Give me 1 second. I'm going to put my dot down. I'm going to grab something, clean this off, and I'll come back to my dot. Okay, now that I've got that grease pit all off of my fingers, because we have engineered this dot completely differently, it's going to be like malleable, right? It's not going to be greasy. I don't have any greasy residue on my hands when I'm picking this up. So we're going to apply it differently. We're going to go ahead and mush it a little bit in our fingers, and then we're going to rub it in. So as I press it onto my skin, I'm feeling that dry touch finish. So give it about, 5 to 10 seconds, and any shininess that you will see drops, and the finish is going to go soft and dry instead of oily. So there's my balm. I see absolutely no oiliness, and what I feel is softness, almost like a body butter. It's really soft. Now let's contrast that. If I can even pick one of these up again, my gosh, they're so oily. I can see why people can't stand these, and they say how oily they are, because my God, they really are. Let's go ahead and push this down. Oof. It's just an unpleasant experience, you guys. Ew. I don't like it at all, but let's go ahead and rub that in. This is your 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3 that everybody is using all over the place. Look at the difference. I mean, which one would you rather use? This is so unpleasant. Ugh. Don't like that at all. Let's just call this what it actually is. This is a balm. It's not lotion. So that viral 3-ingredient dot situation that's floating all over the place right now, those are balm dots, okay? The 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3, it's a balm dot. It's not a lotion dot. They'll melt, they'll spread, and they'll leave a film every single time. This version that I just shared with you guys is different because it's engineered to reduce free liquid oil so that it doesn't feel greasy in your hand. It still pops out of those tiny molds nice and clean, and it dries down the way people expect a lotion dot to feel. You be the judge. I mean, even just look, my hand is dry over here from my lotion dot, spreading my lotion dot, dry. Look at my hand from spreading that viral balm dot. Completely greasy. Completely greasy. I've already given you guys the formula for this. If you would like the written format, that will be available up on my Patreon, but I did just give it to you here in the video. Let's be real now and call it what it is. It's a balm. It's not a lotion. The viral 3-ingredient dots are balm dots. They'll melt, they'll spread, and they'll leave a film every single time. This version is different because it's engineered to reduce free liquid oil. So it doesn't feel greasy in your hand. It still pops out of those tiny molds clean, and it dries down the way that people expect a lotion dot to feel. I've given you the formula here in the video, but if you want the written PDF, it's available on Patreon. And if you make it, comment dry dot and tell me whether you want it drier or more cushioning, and I'll tell you the one adjustment to make. Please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with anybody who you think could benefit. Doing these things is completely free to you, but it helps me out a great deal so that I can continue bringing you content just like this. Thanks for hanging out with me today at Creation Station, and I'll see you in the next formulation. If you're a YouTube channel member, the written formula and instructions are waiting for you in the description box. If you're not a member, you can also get this formula along with more than 100 others and all future releases by joining my Patreon, or you can pick it up individually in my Etsy shop. All the links are below. Choose what's right for you.